What is going on, y'all? I've got some sick buffs for a super sick Pokemon, Lunatone. I am re-recording this video because I changed Intimidate I changed Intimidate to Energy Shield. Reason being, I wanted to give Lycan Rock all three forms Intimidate, and of course the Midnight form is Rock Dark as well, and therefore I wanted to change it. I also think Energy Shield fits a lot more anyways, and I wouldn't say better. Situationally, it's actually worse, but situationally, it's also better. I think it is a little bit more fitting, though, despite the fact that the Pokedex explicitly says that Lunatone is intimidating, that it intimidates its opponents and whatever strikes fear into their hearts. You know, it's not like you would actually look at Lunatone and think it should get Intimidate. So and its shield's a lot cooler and more unique. And then, of course, they still have the ability Levitate, which is always a great ability to have with the Infinite Usability Capsule, which is what all Pokemon are balanced around now. So essentially, you're supposed to be switching around your abilities depending on the situation. Before I get into any more of the really cool buffs and changes here, of course, there are major stat boosts and then a bunch of awesome move buffs. I highly recommend, if you are a new viewer here, and if you have yet to do so, to check out the move sheet linked right down below in the description. You can look at all 600 plus move buffs and changes for yourself. I put a lot of time and effort into organizing them into all of these categories that you can see on screen. So I highly recommend you give all these a look. Very, very important. A lot of new crazy moves that have great new effects and all types of stuff. So give those a look. But with that being said, Lunatone, Rock Dark, fitting, and also makes it a lot more different from Solrock. This makes the only rock psychic types in the hack be Solrock, who has Sweltering Sun, making him immune to water and giving him fire type stab 24/7. Sweltering Sun functions like Desolate Land, and he's also a bulkier special attacker. While they have this same special attack stat as you can see right here. This is Solrock stats if you're curious, but Minior, one of the many Minior forms, is Rock Psychic, but they are an absolute glass cannon, so they are very different from Solrock in that regard. They have very little defensive utility. They both share Levitate, but like that's a given. And then Stakataka, who was an absolute menace in terms of bulk, but he doesn't have the water immunity. He doesn't have the high special attack stat. He doesn't have all the different utility moves that Solrock and Lunatone get. So as a whole, they're all pretty different from one another. And as for some utility moves, yeah, so Lunatone gets all types of incredible options. He has parting shots. He has Sediment for reliable recovery that is going to heal him by 2/3 HP under the sand. Otherwise, it's just simple 50% HP recovery. You have Night Burst for dark type priority. I didn't cover Energy Shield even does yet, by the way. Crap. Yeah, if you are a new viewer here, sorry I'm alienating you a bit. I kind of, at this point, I'm trying to assume that most people watching know what these abilities and moves do by now. But if you don't, Energy Shield functions like multi-scale, which is beautiful, especially when you have that rock and dark typing. So you can use Energy Shield plus, you can use it purely defensively, which is probably the main use for most boss fights, right? It's just going to be to live at a certain attack. That's all. So you use Energy Shield Lunatone, you tank a hit that you otherwise would have died to, and then you kill them back. But it's also super useful for Rock Polish. So you can use Rock Polish plus Weakness Policy plus Energy Shield and go to town. And you can also replenish your Energy Shield with Sediment. So that's really, really nice. Or Moonlight, of course, but Sediment is objectively better. So, actually, no, I think Moonlight, doesn't Moonlight work like a Synthesis? Doesn't it heal you by 2/3 under the sun? Yeah, it does. I lied. So that's always bothered me. But yeah, Moonlight will technically be better if you're using like a Sun team or a Sun Pokemon. So you could, in theory, actually use Lunatone. And you also have Weathered Ball there, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, they have an incredible array of coverage moves to choose from for certain boss fights, not to mention Rock and Dark is already very good dual stab. They have priority in the form of Night Burst and Shockwave, technically, via Tutor, which is nice for coverage, and also priority, reteachable option. Like I said, Rock Polish is great. It also gives you an accuracy boost, so you can use Rock Polish plus slightly inaccurate moves like Night Daze and Flash Cannon. You also have Mineral Shower and Twilight Cannon, which are essentially Rock and Dark type Draco Meteor. Oblivion Beam being an even stronger 180 base power version of Twilight Cannon with less PP and dropping your special attack stat by -4 as opposed to -2. You have other types of really good utility options, like the Glare. Buffed Glare will paralyze and then also drop attack and special attack by -1. Moonblast is obviously nice coverage. I actually could probably rework these a tiny bit because Moonblast can be in time for Nanu. I'm trying to be really careful with that, but I guess I kind of slipped my mind this time. Hold on. 40. I can rework these more. I'll do it after the video. This doesn't matter for the video anyways. They're going to get the same moves. It's just the levels that they get them are going to be different. But yeah, Luna Dance is beautiful. Luna Dance is really great. Luna Dance will give you +1 special defense, +1 speed, and +1 special attack, so that's pretty damn great. They are weak to the most common priority move in the game and first impression, not to mention, like, they're not that fast at +1 speed, so you'd probably need 2 speed boosts in most cases, but that's still really good, especially with Energy Shield. Mesmerize is a 100% accurate sleep move, so that's super, super great. The Z Nightmare will give you +1 to all your stats. Yeah, these guys would just be an absolute blast to use. As a whole, though, very simple buffs and changes overall. Energy Shield fits the whole, fact that he's this weird floating moon planet thing. I did give him some water type moves because of the relation between the moon and the tides, and a bunch of other weird coverage moves just because he's like this weird space rock guy. So I see him using weird moves. He already learned Ice Beam and other weird moves anyway. So yeah, I appreciate you listening this far into the video. Shout out to you. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. This guy is super, super sick, despite the weaknesses. Of course, we all know how great Tyranitar is, right? So obviously Lunatone doesn't have Sandstream, but Molten Scale is also, which is functionally what Energy Shield is a great ability. So that's super fun. And of course, Levitate for certain boss fights. What you can do is tack on that Levitate with an Invisibility Capsule to counter ground type moves, because of course, Energy Shield won't protect you from them. In fact, they still might kill you depending on how strong the move is, and you also have to be full HP. So Levitate is still very, very useful. All right, I appreciate you listening. And I'll be back for more buffs and changes coming up. Peace, y'all.